All right. Yay!
Hello.
We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm gonna tweet. And then,
Pop out the chat.
yeah. I'm gonna open up our notes. Ooh.
All the windows.
Okay. And then I'm gonna adjust some of my volume because my headphones are a little low.
Okay. There we go.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you all nice and stuff now.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, guys. Hello, hello. Jenny, you look so pretty. I love your dress.
Thank you. There's sunflowers on them.
Very nice.
But it's a rental, so I don't get to keep it. I have to return it after a while.
Yeah,
It's so cute. Tempted to keep it, but we'll see.
I still haven't found a rental service that has like the kind of clothing I
They
like.
just don't do goth.
They don't do like
It's just
goth
not a
tech
thing.
wear, like
Yeah. It's all like cute dresses.
cute dresses
Okay,
and
I'm
stuff
okay
for
with
like
the cute dresses.
for like work, like like office clothing is like a big thing
I'm
too.
staying away from that because I don't have an office job anymore.
Let's see. Let me start the recording. Did it record? Oh my god. I'm getting an error.
Hello?
Yeah,
no.
I got an error.
I got a weird error message.
Read.
Close this.
Yeah, let me
Reopen it.
Yeah, I'm gonna close it and reopen it.
Okay, I'm gonna close it.
Okay, restart call.
Hello?
Okay.
I still have an error message.
Yeah, let me try. Oh, geez.
Hello? Hello?
Did recording 2 work? Okay, let me try
Oh.
starting recording.
Zencaster, please.
I know, Zencaster,
Why
please.
are you doing this?
Ever since I started paying for the membership, it's been
Fucking sucks.
weird. Yeah.
Why?
Ugh. Okay, if
Okay.
eventually we find another one, we'll do it. But for now, this was the better
That's
option.
all we got.
We're trying our best, everyone. If our audio gets fucked up, it's because of Zencaster, not us. We're professionals.
It's not our fault. We're doing our best.
So hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of BLHQ.
BLHQ.
We're already on episode 11 of season 2. Holy shit.
Oh my god. I'm also like, because I do the chapter writings like weeks in advance, and we're already getting to the end, and I'm like, no, it went by so fast. The
Yo.
middle is so short.
So short.
It's too short.
Now, well, what's gonna happen is our next book is gonna be really long, and that's gonna be rough.
Doing Morazushi?
I don't know. We can do a fan vote and see what people say.
Okay.
Modazushi or ha.
Morazushi would be easier since the English translation is completed versus Urha is still.
That's
in
true.
progress.
Okay, yeah. Let's do Modazushi then, and then we can
That way
talk about
at least
the
complete
drama.
trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll be fun. Cool.
Yay.
All right, let me open up my notes. Oh my god. Ugh. I'm gonna get comfy.
Dude, I need a recommendation on a new chair because I switched my chair because my other pink chair was just murdering me. So I need a chair recommendation.
I mean, if you want to spend the money, you can get a Herman Miller. Those are literally the best chairs.
Well.
Yeah. You can get it secondhand. That's what I did. I got mine secondhand. My friend was moving, and I was like, "Can I take your chair then?"
Steal your chair.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look and see.
So it could be a lot cheaper.
Something like that around, yeah.
Good luck. If an office is going out of business, you can take all their Herman Millers.
There's a lot of places going out of business, to be honest.
Oof.
Yeah.
R.I.P. them. Secret Labs is great choice. Not because I'm sponsored by them.
No, of course not. Can't. And that's the end of that sentence. And cut.
All right, cool. We are on episode 11. Let's get started.
Okay. Welcome to BLHQ. I'm Jenny Belly.
And I'm Stella Chu.
We're 2 big danmei fans, and this is season 2 of our weekly podcast where we talk about Scum Villain Self-Saving System, written by MXTX. We'll be deep diving into each chapter, discussing the story and our overall reactions. But beware, fangirling ahead. And if you enjoy our podcast, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can get unedited recordings and bonus episodes. Or you can follow us for free on Twitter at BLHQ Podcast.
And a recap of last week's episode, Shenqing Cho meets Lo Binghe in the dream realm and is horrified to see that Lo Binghe is punishing himself by destroying his dream creations. Shenqing Cho tries to comfort him, but is also wary of giving him false hope. When he wakes up, he finds himself in the care of Zuzilang, the snake demon he saved in Bailu Forest. Zuzilang wants to take Shenqing Cho to the demon realm for some mysterious purposes, but Shenqing Cho tricks him and escapes. He makes his way back to Songchang. He makes his way back to Songchang Mountain Sect and is horrified to learn that Lo Binghe has been attacking the sect for the last 2 days. After Shenqing Cho reveals himself as not dead, he surrenders himself to Lo Binghe to save his sect. He also realizes that Lo Binghe is into him and is super gay.
Yeah, this is like Shenqing Cho's like, oh my god, he's not straight. This entire time I thought he was straight.
And now he wants me, my butthole?
What? I was kissed forcefully in a dream realm against a bamboo forest.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the end of book 2, and we are now in the English translation version of book 3. Oh my goodness. And there's only 4 books, so we're almost at the end.
We're almost very close to the end, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so chapter 14 is called House Arrest. Shenqing Cho is brought to a stone corridor, which is the rift between the 2 realms and also Lo Binghe's headquarters in the demon realm. The 2 of them walk silently until Lo Binghe brings him into a room that is different from the rest of the palace. Everywhere else is dark and cave-like, but this room is bright and furnished like the bamboo house on Qingjing Peak. Shenqing Cho feels furious. What is this? Are they play-acting loving master and disciple like back in the dream realm? Lo Binghe steps towards him. In the past, Shenqing Cho instinctively stepped away or ran away. Stepped back or ran away, but this time he stands his ground. He can't keep acting like a maiden in distress. However, he's still afraid, which Lo Binghe notices, and he says, "Shizen, what do you think I'm going to do to you?"
Honestly, Shenqing Cho has no idea what Lo Binghe's plans are for him anymore. He doesn't understand his thoughts at all. Lo Binghe suddenly reaches out his hand, faintly brushing it against Shenqing Cho's cheeks, and then wraps around his throat.
Oh
Whoa, okay, so he just went for like this to like...
And then like choked him. Just suddenly choked him. Like, bruh, why?
Shenqing Cho is motionless. Lo Binghe's fingers are on his major artery. After a moment, Lo Binghe moves his hand away and says, "My blood no longer responds to my beckoning." Oh, so he was just testing for blood, not trying to choke him.
Because Juji Ling also put his blood in Shenqing Cho, so they're like canceling each other out.
Yeah, because they both are technically heavenly demons.
They are. They're cousins.
Mm-hmm.
They're cousins.
Shenqing Cho asks if he's going to make him drink it again, but Lo Binghe says that whether or not he drinks it, Shenqing Cho is going to run away, so he prefers not to give him another reason to hate him. Aww, being considerate finally. Shenqing Cho wonders why he's suddenly acting polite and courteous now that they're alone.
Yeah, he was acting like a big demonic beast, like back in the sect in front of everyone, in front of an audience, but now that they're alone, he's acting all different. Then Lo Binghe tells him that Shenqing Cho is allowed to go anywhere in the palace, and he's also left servants at the door to get him anything he wants. He asks if there's anything he wants right now. Suddenly feeling malicious, Shenqing Cho says, "Then I ask to see you as little as possible. It'll be for the best if I never see you at all."
Whoa, he didn't have to say that.
I know. This is a very like Beauty and the Beast situation, by the way. He like basically kidnapped him and is like, "Here, I'll give you everything you want." And Shenqing Cho's like, "Get away from me. I don't want you."
But also, if it was a Beauty and the Beast situation, then that means he'll turn into like an even hotter guy, and you know, maybe Shenqing Cho's just a monster fucker.
Oh, maybe he is. But Lo Binghe's so handsome. He's beautiful.
That's the thing that wronged Belle the most, is that she originally fell in love with the Beast, and she was like, "Gonna get me some of that weird monster
I know.
dick."
He's like, "Oh, that big hairy guy. I love that." And then he changed.
And she's like,
human.
"Ew."
Yeah, I know. It's not what she signed up for.
Yeah.
It's not what she signed up for. Lo Binghe's face pales. He hadn't expected Shenqing Cho to say such a thing. Even though Shenqing Cho feels a little bit satisfied, he also feels a stab of guilt, like a needle poking his stomach. He's never said anything so mean to anyone before, and it takes a long time for Lo Binghe to recover.
Before, it's so mean. Like, he didn't have
so
to be mean. There's no reason.
Yeah.
Before he leaves, Lo Binghe says, only after becoming the strongest can one keep the people they want to have securely in their palms. I finally understand. Waiting for Suzanne to come wouldn't do. Waiting for Suzanne to come himself won't do. So now that I've caught you, Suzanne had better not think of escaping ever again. Once Senjin-cho is alone, he pings the system. He has over 1,000 B points now, but Lo Binghe still has a lot of anger points and even higher heartbreak points. He feels guilty again. Senjin-cho decides to exchange some of his satisfaction points for a system upgrade. But when the system reveals that the upgrade is called Small Scenario Pusher Luxury Edition, Senjin-cho tries frantically to cancel it, but it's too late and it's already been downloaded. So now he has to wait and see what happens.
Small scenario pusher. What's gonna happen?
Last time there's a scenario pusher, his clothes fell off, okay?
He was ripped, like his chest was exposed. Like, it was bad.
With the shibari all around, dude.
Yeah. It's Lo Binghe's gay awakening. As Senjin-cho requested, Lo Binghe does not show his face in front of him ever again. Senjin-cho thinks to himself, isn't this what he wanted anyways? To just be left alone and spend his days idling away? Senjin-cho's younger sister likes to read certain novels where the protagonist gets kidnapped and they get chained to the bed and blindfolded and stripped naked and beaten. But Lo Binghe doesn't do that either. Instead, Senjin-cho is given pretty good treatment and allowed to do whatever he wants. Well, he isn't going to fall over in gratitude and get Stockholm Syndrome, thank you very much. He can't just sit around and read books and go with the flow, can he?
I mean, it would be nice.
He's being treated like a princess.
Yeah, it would be nice if he got Stockholm Syndrome.
I know. He's being really nice to you. Like, what is wrong with you?
Senjin-cho looks out the window and sees a group of demon servants hurrying about. He asks what's going on, and the servants bow politely and tell them that they're planting bamboo. Though they are difficult to grow in the demon realm, Lo Binghe is determined to plant it here and told the servants to figure out a way. Oh, he's making a bamboo house!
He's literally, like, the entire palace is like a cave, like stone cave and dark and gloomy and stinky, except for this one room that Senjin-cho is given, which looks like exactly a carbon copy of his house in the bamboo house. So, like, and now he's making a whole ass forest in this, like, dry, like, untillable land in the demon world. Oh my god.
Senjin-cho is dumbfounded. And then there's another incident. 2 days into his house arrest, a demon maid brings over his meal. But in the first 2 bites, Senjin-cho recognizes it as Lo Binghe's cooking. The flavor is so familiar and good, even though he hadn't tasted it in years. Senjin-cho doesn't want to eat it, but Lo Binghe happened to make all of his favorites, so he ends up eating the entire thing.
He's like, it's not like I wanted to eat this or anything. It just tastes really good, okay? And I missed it. I haven't had it in years.
Exactly. Also, like, why be a bitch and not eat it? Like, what's wrong with eating it? What's the worst that can happen?
I don't know. He's being so stubborn. He's being like an angry wife. He's just like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want your food.
What, you like me? Ew. Leave me alone. I don't like it. Anyway, can you use more salt next time?
Yeah. After the maid clears the dishes, none other than Shang Qinghua wobbles into the room. Senjin-cho immediately throws a spiritual blast at him and shouts, Airplane shooting towards the sky, fuck you! Shang Qinghua frantically blocks the attack with a sword sheath, and Senjin-cho shouts, you sold me out! What about our friendship? What about being comrades from the same hometown? Shang Qinghua replies, what friendship? He had no choice. Lo Binghe was gonna figure out anyway, and he didn't want to get beat up for no reason, so he had just told him everything. Senjin-cho is shocked at his shameless response. Shang Qinghua sits at the table and says, let's not talk about this anymore. I was ordered to deliver something to you.
So Shang Qinghua explained about the mushroom body to Lo Binghe?
So the scene was Lo Binghe found him because he was working with Mobe Jin, and before he like lifted one hand and Shang Qinghua just like spilled his guts. Like, he was such a coward. Like, he knew that he was gonna get beat up, so he just started saying everything. Wow. Like, everything. He's such a traitor.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, though, if he didn't involve Senjin-hua, how better off Senjin-cho would be if he never discovered?
Yeah,
he would
be
just
hidden forever.
he knew the location of the sun dew moon mushroom flower thing. He knew he didn't have to ask Sanchihua. Sanchihua couldn't even remember what it was. He was useless the whole time.
Yeah, he was just a horse carriage driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
he's just a servant.
yo, Senjincho could have just gone off, made his own mushroom body, and then hid off in the woods forever, being a rogue cultivator.
The only thing that got fucked up was when he tried to save the disciples, because it was through Xiaohualing that he got caught by Lobinghe. So if he like ignored the disciples and was like, all right, well, whatever. But he was like too nice and he wanted to help his disciples. So like now he got entangled in the whole mess. And then Lobinghe saw his face.
Yeah.
And was like, Shang-Qinga, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah. Well, also like he would have let go those disciples because remember how he's like Lobinghe says, don't take anyone from Kanchao Mountain Sect or Songchao Mountain Sect.
Yeah, Xiaohualing wasn't supposed to take those disciples and she did anyway. So like really there's like train of blame.
Yeah. So like Senjincho could have just literally left and just
he could have ignored the problem.
He could have just ignored it.
He wanted to help. He's a good person.
He just doesn't realize that the plot revolves around him. It doesn't revolve around Lobinghe.
Yeah, because like Lobinghe wasn't even supposed to be in the cave, but of course he appears when Shang-Qincho is there.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Sanqinghua places the sword on the Sanqinghua places the sword on the table. It's Shuya. Sanqincho draws the blade and it is pure white as before, completely repaired from its previous shattered state. Not a fracture to be seen. Sanqinghua laughs and says that the storyline is so warped that it's truly remarkable. Sanqincho says, the Stallion novel protagonist you wrote turned gay. Shouldn't you be angry? Sanjihua says, it doesn't matter. Either way, the one he's got his eye on isn't me. And
my god.
Wow. He's like,
it's like, I don't care. He's not lusting after me.
At least I'm not going to die. I'm not going to become a human stick or a bed servant.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Sanqincho flips him off and then goes to polish his sword. Sanqinghua gives tongue-tied today.
Their names are so similar.
Yeah.
Shang-Qincho and Shang-Qinghua. Like,
yeah.
It's so similar.
Worst. Oh my god. I hate that all of the Qingjing Peak Lords are Qing.
I know! It's all Qing because they're the same generation.
Songchao Mountain Sect Lords are
they all
Qing.
have the same first name.
Or like middle name. The like sibling name is the central name.
Yeah, they have the same name because when they became Peak Lords, they all changed their given name to represent that they're from the same generation. So the next generation will all have another new name that they all share, but for this generation it's Qing. So that's why everyone has Qing in their name. Yeah.
Sanqinghua gives him a thumbs up. Really, you don't need to be so pessimistic. You have good prospects for the future. Quite good prospects. Those golden thighs, they're thick and sturdy, very reliable. It sounds like he's trying to sell like his nephew. Like look, beautiful boy, thick thighs, very sturdy, reliable.
So reliable. You could do worse. And Shang-Qincho is like, but he's a man.
And I'm not gay.
I'm not
and he's the protagonist, and I'm an NPC.
Yeah. Shang-Qincho says, but where have I ended up? Between the thighs.
Wow, this conversation is hilarious.
I know. I love when Shang-Qincho and Shang-Qinghua hang out because they just have the stupidest conversations.
That's great.
Even
if one of my favorite fan fictions was when they got drunk and they were playing on the chin and they were trying to play like popular music on the chin and making each other guess what it is.
They're so stupid. They're so dumb. They have chaotic energy. I love them so much.
That's great.
Shang-Qinghua replies, between the thighs is even better, huh? A man's most important object is between the thighs. Shang-Qincho seriously wants to cut off Shang-Qinghua's important object, but he can't let his sword touch filthy things. Changing the subject, he asks if Shang-Qinghua has any information about Tianlanjun, Lobinghe's dad. Shang-Qinghua perks up and says that originally he made a grand outline for Tianlanjun as the final boss for Lobinghe. But suddenly his computer died and he lost all his notes. He forgot all the details, so he switched plans and instead wrote about Lobinghe conquering 100 virgins. Shang-Qincho is silent. Did this idiot seriously give up on writing a serious storyline and leave it full of plot holes just to write about a harem? Is that how Proud Immortal Demon Way became a stallion novel?
Sang Xinhua defends himself and says that he needed to make a living. The people wanted to read about wives and papa. If he wrote a different story, he wouldn't be able to feed himself. He also says that in the original outline, Tian Jun is stronger and more badass than Luo Binghe, with an even more tragic backstory. What if the readers didn't like him stealing the spotlight? What if Luo Binghe couldn't defeat him? Fans of Luo Binghe would have been outraged. Sen Qingqiu demands that Sang Xinhua lists out every bit of information he wrote in the original outline, but Sang Xinhua stammers that he can barely remember it. What he does remember is a part that has to do with Sen Qingqiu's original character, or more precisely, Senjo, but it's a bit embarrassing.
How different would this novel have been if it was just like a really cool like fighting novel between Luo Binghe and his dad, but instead it just became like a harem, like a really cheesy, corny, tropey harem.
Ugh.
Shen Qingqiu is horrified. Of course, this stupid author gave Shen Qingqiu a weird backstory. He demands that Shen Qinghua tell him everything. But Shen Qinghua says that though Shen Qingqiu is scum, he had a reason to become scum. He has a not scummy side and he's well-rounded. He's a three-dimensional character. But as soon as he wrote any character development scenes, the readers didn't like it and they wrote bad reviews. So he had to change the story and turn Shen Qingqiu into a tropey basic asshole. Before Shen Qinghua can get into the details, they are suddenly interrupted by the maids outside signaling Luo Binghe's appearance. Shen Qinghua quickly gets up and leaves through the back door saying, "That man of yours is here. Let's do it later. Wait, I mean, let's chat later."
No, do it later. What do you mean do it later?
What does that mean? Yeah.
Also, like, is he not invited to this? Like, can he just be in the room chilling?
Shen Qinghua is afraid as fuck of Luo Binghe.
Okay.
So he's just, every time he's nearby, he runs.
Sen Qingqiu thinks, no, don't go. He was literally about to reveal the most important information. Isn't this too cliche to leave at the most vital part? It's like when the victim dies before he can reveal who the killer is. But then the curtains open and Luo Binghe enters the room. Sen Qingqiu quickly schools his face into a neutral expression. After a moment of silence, Luo Binghe says, "It seems that Sizhen has not slept at all these past few days." So Sen Qingqiu has been purposefully staying awake to avoid Luo Binghe's dream realm. Luo Binghe says stiffly, "Although I hid some things from Sizhen in the dream realm, none of the feelings I revealed there were false." Sen Qingqiu sighs. "Luo Binghe, at present, I really don't know which of your words are true and which are false. Therefore, don't bother saying such things." Oh my god.
Just shut him down.
What the Yo, Sen
Don't
Qingqiu.
believe anything
Why are
he
you
says.
so mean? Like, literally,
No.
you do not
villain
have
arc.
to say this. Like, he did not. Half the things, it's like you could choose like a normal route, or you can choose the most freaking meanest thing you can say. He always
Yeah.
chooses the meanest thing.
Like, there's some things you just shouldn't say to a person, and he's just saying all of them. All of them. All of them are coming out. There's so much, like, pent-up, like, anger.
Yeah, he himself needs to like just talk it out with Luo Binghe.
therapy.
He needs therapy.
Everyone needs therapy.
Yeah, obviously he's like completely swept all of his trauma under the rug.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I also love how, like, they keep hinting at something with the original Shen Qingqiu's past. Like, here it is again. Like, Shen Qinghua is about to say something really, really important about
Yeah.
Shen Qingqiu's original character, like, before he transmigrated. And, of course, they're interrupted. So it's like, when are we going to find out about Shen Qingqiu's past?
We'll find out soon. Ooh.
The Luo Binghe in the dream realm is cute and pitiful, but Shen Qingqiu dares not to trust anything he says. He doesn't want to believe him, only to be slapped in the face later. Luo Binghe grows angry and says that he had to deceive him, or else he wouldn't have been able to talk to him. But how dare he talk about deceiving? Didn't Shen Qingqiu lie to him when he said that he didn't care about the difference between humans and demons? For the past 5 years, Luo Binghe has been trying to summon Shen Qingqiu's soul, failing thousands of times, but never giving up hope. He never expected that now that they finally met each other again, that Shen Qingqiu would hate him to this extent. Why is it that he treats him like a snake when he's done nothing? They've both deceived each other. Isn't it entirely fair?
Oh my gosh, my heart is breaking.
Logan is literally pouring his heart out, and like, it's Shenjincho always like notices like Lobingha when he's in like public, he's like really cool and like silent and like cold. But every time they're alone, he's always acting like a child, just like saying everything and like stumbling over his words and like crying. And so yeah.
It sucks. I can understand Lovingha at this moment. And
He's so sympathetic.
yeah, like I can understand that, like, you know, he's wanted all these things and he's being misunderstood.
I know.
But
It's not fair.
at the same time, though, he did do a lot of fucked up shit, okay? He did hurt his
But-
zen.
But he just did it out of anger.
Well-
he didn't know how to control his emotions.
I know, and we can blame it on the sword, but also he
Okay.
needs therapy.
Yeah, everyone needs therapy.
Everyone needs therapy.
Yeah.
Senjincho knows that everything Lobingha says is logical, but he can't help but say, "You really cling to your grudges." Lobingha sneers. "I'm afraid Zen has never seen what I'm like when I really hold a grudge against someone. But what if I said that when it comes to Zen, I only cling to memories, not grudges? I probably wouldn't be believed, would I?" Senjincho grows nervous as Lobingha moves closer to him. He says, "Compose yourself." But Lobingha replies, "Zen, you can always compose yourself, but I can no longer do the same." And then he pushes Senjincho down onto the bamboo bed.
We're escalating.
Oh my
We're
god.
escalating.
Ooh, things are happening.
Oh my god, this is where the fangirl screaming starts.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh,
Okay,
the
here we go.
scene's getting
This scene is so
spicy.
good.
Oh.
This scene is so good.
Okay.
Okay. Shen Cho yells, "Insolent!" and tries to kick him. I almost said kiss. and tries to kick him. But Lobinga pushes his leg down with one hand and moves his other hand to Shen Cho's inner robe. Shen Cho panics. He doesn't want to be in this position underneath Lobingha with his legs spread eagle. He uses his spiritual energy to flip them around, pinning Lobingha underneath him with Shuya's blade 3 inches from his throat. Shen Cho says angrily, "So you're trying to take advantage of your Susan? How filial." But Lobingha is calm and he flips their positions again. They end up brawling, rolling off the bed, spiritual energy and demonic energy blasts flying in random directions.
Finally, Senjincho gathers all his energy into his fist and punches Lobingha's gut. Lobingha takes a blow without making a sound. Senjincho feels like he's venting all his pent-up anger in that blow. But suddenly, the system chimes, "Congratulations, satisfaction points plus 500. Senjincho is speechless. Is Lobingha seriously a masochist? He's this happy getting beat up? How did he raise such a weirdo? Lobingha stops playing around and he tears Senjincho's robes off. Oh my god!
Ripped it off.
Smiling, he says, "Hit me all you want. You can't kill me either way." This disciple gladly accepts Zen's instructions.
Oh my god. Wow, what a line. Oh my gosh.
Whoa!
Accept Shizen's instructions. Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
Senjincho is horrified when he feels a hand on his bare waist and slams his sword hilt at Lobingha's forehead. "You beast!"
Lobingha replies, "If Shizen sees me as no better than a beast either way, I might as well live up to expectations." Shenjincho wants to speak, but suddenly, his vision blurs and he drops his sword in pain. His head feels like it's going to explode and there's a ringing in his ears. Lobingha stops moving, shocked. He tries to hold Shenjincho down as he screams and goes into a seizure. Panicked, he says, "Shizen, I was just trying to scare you. Don't take it so seriously. What's wrong?" Lobingha tries to scan his body with spiritual energy, but there's nothing physically wrong. As Shenjincho's pulse grows weaker and weaker, Lobingha shouts in rage, "Guards, every one of you, get in here!" Dramatic. Oh
I
my God.
loved
Oh my
this
God.
scene.
Dramatic.
I loved that scene so much because
Yes.
just when you think something like super spicy is about to happen
No.
and maybe they'll be able to reconcile their emotions, and like Lobingha is, you know, he had been rejected over and over again and he has been waiting 5 long years for his dead Zen to come back to life, and all of a sudden he loses him again.
It's too early in the novel for reconciliation. We have to have another dramatic turn.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Literally, can you imagine? He's just like messing with him and pinning him down and doing something sexy, and all of a sudden he goes into a fucking seizure and screams at the top of his lungs.
Yeah. What did
then
I do?
faints.
Don't tell mom. Don't tell mom.
That's fucking scary.
You're not hurt. It's okay. It's okay. There's no blood. Oh my God.
But yeah, poor Shenjing Cho, just always sick. Always something terrible happening to his body. Why?
Yeah. I, I wish we could have stopped here as a cliffhanger for everyone.
Oh no, it's too short. It's too short.
I
We gotta keep
know.
going.
I know. I
Yeah,
know.
It's a good chapter ender. But
it's
that's
so
like the first. That was the first chapter of the third book. So that's really good.
Yeah.
Good start.
Well, now we're not going to leave you on a cliffhanger. We're on to chapter 15, Holy Mausoleum, part 1. Do you guys remember when we mentioned the Holy Mausoleum?
Oh, yes.
Nothing in this book goes like, what is it? Like, everything is foreshadow, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They always mention something.
They mention something, and then they're like, "We're gonna really talk about it now. This is the moment."
Mm-hmm.
Here it is.
When Senjincho opens his eyes, it's pitch black. He feels around and realizes that he's inside some sort of stone box. Using his spiritual energy, he shatters the stone cover on top of him, and he finds himself inside of a coffin. Looking around, he pieces together that he's in the holy mausoleum of the demon race. There are dusty weapons, books, bottles, and gemstones all around the altar that the coffin was placed on. And when he looks down at his body, he is dumbstruck to find out that he's not in his new sun, moon, dew, mushroom body. He's in his original Senshin Cho body that had self-detonated. The Holy Mausoleum was rumored to have a way to revive the dead, so someone must have snuck his corpse inside and activated a soul summoning array, yanking him back into his old body.
Remember when his original body was like mysteriously stolen at the peak, and all the disciples were poisoned? Well, it looks like he's back in his old body again. Someone took it to the Holy Mausoleum.
I wonder who. Wonder which demon was
I know.
recently
So
interested.
many, yeah, that we just met. Yeah. Only supreme rulers of the demon race are allowed inside the mausoleum. But since Shenjing Cho's body was soulless when it entered, and then his soul was summoned when he was already inside, he has somehow managed to create a loophole. He tests his spiritual energy, and because Lobingha spent 5 years repairing the body's meridians, his energy is flowing normally. He doesn't even feel the without a cure poison, but he's not sure if it's completely gone or if it's just lying dormant. Unfortunately for his mushroom body, once the soul is taken out of the dew mushroom shell, it quickly withers and dies. He wonders what kind of expression Lobingha made on his face standing in front of that withered and dried up body.
Oh my God.
That's so fucked up. Literally, Lobingha spent 5 years. First of all, how amazing is it that he got this like dried up husk of a body and like spent 5 years repairing it to its full, like completely repairing it, curing it so that it's like totally normal now. And then after spending 5 years like looking for Shizen and trying to bring back his Shizen, the Shizen that he gets, like his body just withers and shrivels up and dies.
Dude,
after
that's
a
so
seizure?
messed up.
Bruh.
That is supremely messed up. Like that's some like Rick and Morty shit where it's like
I know.
that scene where it's like, my son, is that you? He's like, Daddy, please don't attack the car, and then he melts away. The sun just melts into a puddle. He's like, oh my God, my son.
So
What?
traumatizing.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh my
Poor
God.
Lobingha. Like seriously, he cannot get a break. He's just been like slapped in the face so many times.
Oh God. It's so messed up.
So unfair, bruh.
The system suddenly chimes in and informs Senshin Cho that he has entered a plot hole filling quest. He's forced by the system to leave the room and explore the mausoleum, but he knows that there are countless booby traps and demonic beasts guarding the tombs. He doesn't want to look around at all. Senshin Cho walks around in the dark, too cautious to summon any fire, when suddenly he hears gasping noises. Thin figures emerge from the darkness, swaying and getting closer. Senshin stands as still as possible, not making a noise, and holding his breath. These are the blind corpses. Low level, but high encounter rate, and they have tons of eyes all over their face that are sensitive to light and can detect even the faintest glow. As soon as they see light, they become fierce monsters, but otherwise they wander slowly like zombies. So it's kind of like the clickers from
Yeah.
What's
but
that
instead of
game?
Noise, they see light.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
They're really, really sensitive to
Or
light. And then
the nurses from Silent Hill, they're also like that
I'm
too.
scared.
Oh my god, it's so scary. It's so scary.
I played like 10 minutes of it and then I gave up.
No, you should never play that game. It's
I
fucking
never.
terrifying. The
Literally
movie is
10
really
minutes.
good. You can
No,
get the
thank
vibe
you.
from the movie.
No, yeah, I'll just watch the movie.
Oh god, yeah. So like the Silent Hill nurses, they're sensitive to movement, sound, light, but
Okay.
at one point you can throw a flashlight down on the ground and they'll just like stare at the flashlight and try to attack the flashlights.
They're looking at light. I see, I see. So the blind corpses themselves aren't too bad, but they're always accompanied by a small green flame called the last breath candles. These balls of light only illuminate when they sense the breath of the living. That means that whenever a person takes a breath, the green flames ignite and the blind corpses come charging in. This is I like the world because they always have really, really interesting monsters. Like I've never seen anything like the last breath candle before, I think.
I like that. I like the last breath candles.
Yeah,
It's a really
yeah.
cool concept.
Yeah, yeah. I can see why Shen Cho liked it for the lore. That means that Shen Cho is eventually forced to take a breath and he jumps to the end of the hall, throwing off corpses that lunge at him. He finds another room with a coffin high up on an altar. He tries to break it open, but it barely moves an inch. Maybe there's someone inside. Shen Cho knocks on it and asks, "May I take shelter in your honored residence?" Suddenly, a smiling voice comes from inside. "Do as you please."
Oh, great. It's actually Hua Tun
so-
and Xie Liang in a coffin.
Oh, of course. Yeah, yeah. He actually, and it was sarcastic. He was like, "Yeah, maybe there's someone inside the coffin," and he knocked sarcastically, and there actually is a response. Like, that's scary.
Ugh. Senjin Cho is terrified. Is it a living corpse? More blind corpses come at him and he kicks them away. He's about to blast a hole in the ceiling to escape when suddenly he hears a snake hiss approaching. The blind corpses immediately stop moving and bow their heads when they hear the hiss. A moment later, Tzuzi Lang appears. Yay! It's the
Snake
revealed.
monster.
It's the demon, the snake demon.
The snake.
Senjin Cho says, "So you really were the one who stole my corpse from Chongding Hall." The disciples were poisoned with snake demon venom, and that's why Mu Qingfang wasn't able to identify the poison. Senjin Cho says that Tzuzi Lang intended to bring him to Senshi Cho says that Tzuzi Lang intended to bring him to the demon realm. So now that he's here, what is the goal?
Zhuji Lang replies that he brought him here to repay his kindness. Also, it wasn't him, but his lord that summoned him here. Chen Cho asks, "Very well, where is Tianlang Jun?" Zhuji Lang is surprised, saying that they already greeted each other. Chen Cho thinks, "What? Greeted each other? Is he talking about the living corpse in the stone coffin from earlier? That can't really be counted as a greeting, can it?" Suddenly, the coffin lid begins to shake and slides open. A person sits up, propping his elbow onto the rim and tilting his head with a faint smile. He says, "Qingjing Pink Lord, it's an honor to meet you at last." Chen Cho is stunned. Father and son are too similar? Lo Binghe likes to hold corpses and Tianlang Jun likes to lie in coffins?
God damn it.
So weird.
So
Why is
weird.
their family weird?
Yeah. Though Lo Binghe resembles his mother's Su Xian.
Yan.
Su Xian. Though Lo Binghe... oh my god, tongue-tied.
I know, I feel that.
Though Lo Binghe resembles his mom, Su Xian, there are hints of his father too. For example, Tianlang Jun's eyes are deep and his brows are heroic, and his smile is kind of ominous. But Tianlang Jun also has an aura around him that can only come from family background and upbringing. Though he sits in a coffin, it feels like an emperor's throne. Lo Binghe is handsome, but he would probably still look like he's sitting in a coffin. No wonder the author had to remove Tianlang Jun from the plot. He would make Lo Binghe look bad. Senjin Cho wonders if Tianlang Jun is in the coffin because he can't stand. Is something wrong with his body? Tianlang Jun smiles and reaches out a hand for Senjin Cho to help him up. So Senjin Cho grabs him and pulls.
Tianlang Jun cheerfully stands up, but then all of a sudden, the forearm that Shen Cho was holding pops right off. Shen Cho's face is blank. What? Tianlang Jun's sleeve is empty from his missing arm, and he says politely, "Ah, it came off again. Would the Peak Lord please hand that over to me?" Shen Cho quietly returns the severed arm. Tianlang Jun and Zhuji Lang have expressions like "this is all normal," and with a "this is all normal," and with a click, Tianlang Jun snaps his arm back into place. Shenqing Cho thinks, are you a fucking doll? Your joints can be attached and detached just like that? Oh my god, like the image of this is so funny.
So dumb.
It turns out that Zhu Jilong did use the mushrooms to create a new body for Tianlan Jin, but the body isn't perfect. Shenqing Cho used his blood and qi to grow his body, making it completely compatible. However, Tianlan Jin is a demon, and the mushroom is naturally rejecting his demonic qi. It's slowly deteriorating.
Tianlan Jun thanks Shenqing Cho for helping him leave Bailu Mountain, but Shenqing Cho looks to Su Zilong and is amazed at his loyalty. Even though his snake body was truly too awful to behold, Su Zilong stayed near Tianlan Jun when he was sealed under the mountain, and even used the dew mushrooms to make a new body for his master instead of himself. Shenqing Cho says that it is Su Zilong that needs to be thanked. What a capable subordinate. Tianlan Jun asks, have you heard my nephew's motto? Shenqing Cho replies, I have. A drop of kindness must be repaid by a torrent, isn't it? Su Zilong blushes and says, my lord immortal Master Sen, please do not mock me.
Juju is so cute. And, yeah. That's his whole personality is like, if someone is kind to him one time, he will be forever your loyal lapdog. Like, he'll just do anything for you.
I feel like he's like a male version of Hinata from Naruto. He's just like, oh, yeah, no problem.
I'm just here. Like, don't mind me. I'm just in the background. And can I do anything to help you? Do you need anything? I'm just here to serve. Like, he's just so kind. And he's always so flustered. Like, he's always blushing around him.
Always.
And embarrassed.
Embarrassed. Because Tianlan Jun is, you guys will see, but he has no shame.
Like, he is so, oh my god. Like, I can't wait for us to get to the tent scene. Because the tent scene, like,
the tent scene!
It's so fucking funny.
Beautiful.
But yeah, Zhu Jilong is always very, like, even though when he's a demon, and he is, like, really night and day. When he hates you, he is merciless. So like when he likes you and you do him like one favor, he will just like forever be in your debt and like be embarrassed all the time.
So cute.
Shenqing Cho turns to look at the murals around the tomb. Across the door is a giant woman's face, which is in the expression of pure joy. There are actually 3 holy tombs in the mausoleum: the Hall of Delight, Fury, and Sorrow. This must be the Hall of Delight. Tianlan Jun says that the reason Zhu Jilong brought him to the demon realm is because if he was still in the human realm, he would die. He plans to massacre all the 4 major sects, and there's no need for Shenqing Cho to be included with them. Shenqing Cho is speechless. This is definitely the logic of a final boss who wants to destroy the world. Well, to be fair, he was sealed under a mountain by a bunch of cultivators for many years. Anyone would turn resentful.
Shenqing Cho says, is the next step eliminating the entire human race? Tianlan Jun is confused. Oh, why would you think so? Of course not. I love humans. I just don't like the 4 major sects. On the contrary, I have a gift for the human realm. Shenqing Cho thinks that whatever this gift is, it cannot be good. But before he can speak, there's suddenly an earthquake that shakes the whole hall. There's also a roar in the distance. Alarmed, Shenqing Cho asks, what is that? Instead of responding, Tianlan Jun says, this is even faster than I anticipated. How many? Su Zilong replies, at least 200. Tianlan Jun laughs. Capturing even 10 would be impressive enough. He's gone to some trouble. Shenqing Cho doesn't understand what they're talking about.
I can't believe Tianlan Jun just casually is like, yeah, I'm just gonna destroy the 4 human sects. Like, I'm just gonna massacre everyone.
They should die, but you shouldn't. You're great. Yeah, we like you.
Cool. I like
and it'd be great if we just keep you in this little cage inside of our house, like a pet.
You're fine. You're fine. Everyone else needs to die, but you're cool. Tianlan Jun finally turns to him and says, Heek Lord Shen, for 5 years, my nephew has been putting his all into helping you make a clean break from Sangchong Mountain sect. What do you think? Will you go with them? Will you go with him? Shenqing Cho thinks, you guys already kidnapped me. What's the point of asking this now? But then he thinks more about what he said and comes to a realization. The sowers in Jinlan City. Was that orchestrated by Zhu Jilong to give Shenqing Cho a clean break from his sect? Did he order the sowers to single him out? Zhuji Lang lowers his head and says, "Oh, Zhuji Lang lowers his head, and Tianlan Jun pats his shoulder in encouragement and says, Zhuji Lang merely wanted to completely remove Peak Lord Shen's desire to remain in the human realm.
That's so messed up. That's
Just like turn him into like the enemy of the cultivation world? For what?
If you guys remember Heaven Official's Blessing, that's the serious version of this. That's like the dark version of this concept.
Yeah,
it's like,
oh, I just wanted you to become hated by the entire universe, so I just set this up.
so that you can be friends with us. You will be on our side. You will have no one to turn to. Just us.
Yeah,
we made it so that everyone hates you, and now you're our best friend.
yeah. Game of no choice.
Oof.
So fucked up and demented, bro. Like demon thinking.
Demon thinking. Yep, their thought processes are wrong, but
no, they're just so black and white. It's just like, oh, I have a problem. We're just gonna solve it the most horrifying way possible.
Senshin-cho is furious. What the hell? This is what you call paying back kindness? Susie Long says quietly that his lord will eliminate the four sects without a single survivor. So won't he please stay? Senshin-cho asks if Susie Long brought Chu Haitong as well. But both Taelan Jun and Susie Long have no idea who he's talking about. It looks like someone else is responsible for her sudden appearance at that time, and it just so happened to be when the sowers were already ruining his reputation. Taelan Jun then thanks him for taking care of his son all those years. Senshin-cho asks, "Lo Bing-he, what does this have to do with him?" Taelan Jun chuckles and says that he needs something from his son to complete his plan. Senshin-cho thinks that he needs Lo Bing-he's body since his current body is falling apart. He obviously brought Senshin-cho here to lure Lo Bing-he into the mausoleum. That's actually a pretty good idea. If his body's falling apart, then he can just take over Lo Bing-he's body, and then we'll turn this into a stepfather fic.
That's weird. That's what Senshin-cho assumes. That's what he thinks is going to
Woo,
happen.
stepfather, what are you doing?
No, thank you. None of that.
Stepdaddy. Oh no, I'm in a coffin. I'm stuck.
Senshin-cho says that Lo Bing-he is not a supreme ruler, so he can't enter the mausoleum. But Tianlan Jun smiles and says, as long as he wants to enter, he definitely can. Senshin-cho says slowly, no matter what you want to do, he's still your son. Your child by Sushi Yan? Tianlan Jun replies, so? Senshin-cho originally thought that Tianlan Jun was a passionate character that believed in love, but now he realizes that he's completely apathetic towards his own son and unfeeling towards Sushi Yan. He knows that demons are cold, but how can Tianlan Jun be so uncaring? Was Lo Bing-he truly unloved by his own parents? On top of that, Senshin-cho has always blamed Lo Bing-he for the Jinlan City incident, but he's innocent. Lo Bing-he even tried to explain himself over and over again, but Senshin-cho ignored him and didn't believe him. Tianlan Jun may be an uncaring father, but what does that make him? Isn't he even worse?
Yes, they are both in the same category.
Pleaded with you and told you it wasn't him, and you just chose to ignore him and make him the villain. For
so sad.
Assumptions. Yeah.
The tomb shakes and there's roars of hundreds of beasts. Suddenly, the ceiling collapses and Lo Bing-he comes crashing inside, standing on top of a giant black beast with eyes full of murderous intent. It's a fucking black moon rhinoceros python. Finally, we get to see one.
Here. Yeah, I remember it was supposed to be at the Immortal Alliance conference, but Shang Qinghua made sure that they weren't there in order to avoid the events of the Immortal Alliance conference, but it didn't fucking matter because Mobei-jin came anyway.
It looks like a giant rhinoceros with a curved horn like a crescent moon on its forehead, but when it opens its mouth, a giant red python comes curling out. Susie Long stands in front of Taelan Jun, and Senshin-cho subconsciously hides behind Susie Long. He feels too guilty realizing how he's wronged Lo Bing-he and does not have the face to look at him. Taelan Jun raises a brow in a manner similar to his son and says, "So he didn't hesitate to capture 200 Black Moon rhinoceros pythons to break the barrier around the holy mausoleum. Peak Lord son, this son of mine truly goes to extraordinary lengths for you."
Oh my god. Shenjing-cho, also, why did you hide away from Lo Bing-he? He's gonna misunderstand.
I mean, the last time they saw each other, he tried to force himself on him, so
That's true.
I would
And now
too.
he's guilty.
I would run far away.
Cho has no words. The black moon rhinoceros python is so rare that only one was enough to summon the endless abyss in the original novel. But now, Lobingha has captured 200 just to break in. Lobingha leaps down from the rhinoceros python, which has exhausted, which has exhausted all its energy and collapses onto the ground. He glares at Cho furiously, but also looks like he's about to cry. Cho only now realizes that when he ducked behind Yuji Long, it looked like he was avoiding Lobingha again. But he's worried that he's too weak to fight against Tianlang Jun. He shouts, "Go back!" Lobingha is silent and then attacks. He sends Yuji Long flying away, but when he reaches Tianlang Jun simply catches the blow without moving a single step, and then he taps on Lobingha's shoulder, breaking his entire arm. Cho is alarmed as Lobingha coughs up blood, staining his entire chin, neck, and chest red.
Just from a hit on his arm.
One little boop, taps, one boop, and his entire arm just shatters. Just boop.
That's crazy.
So strong. And also, Tianlang Jun is in a weak body. Like, imagine if he was at his full potential.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah, it's crazy because like Tianlian
So
Jun's
stronger.
he's the demonic energy just literally destroys the mushroom body because the mushroom body needs spiritual energy rather than demonic energy.
It was born from like good chi, and all he has is bad chi.
Yeah. So he's just rotting away.
Bruh. His arm's just popping off like a doll joint. It's just...
Lobingha looks confused. It's been so long since anyone has been able to injure him. Senjin Cho thinks, doesn't the protagonist have plot armor? What the fuck? Meanwhile, Tianlan Jun's arm has popped off again, and Zuzilan immediately picks it up to return it. Lobingha shouts at Senjin Cho to come with him, but Zuzilong says that they can't leave. The barrier around the mausoleum has already repaired itself. Lobingha says, then I'll use the two of you as blood sacrifices to open it again. He tries to unsheath Shinmo, but Tiannan Jun moves behind him and uses a single finger to keep the sword pushed in. Lobingha moves to counter, but no matter how fast he strikes, Tiannan Jun is faster. Eventually, Tiannan Jun is tired of teasing him and pushes down on Lobingha's skull.
Dude, this is such a one-sided fight. It's so fucked up.
Against his dad! He didn't even
he
introduce
doesn't even
himself.
know that's his dad. He has no idea right now that that's
Papa?
his dad. Lobingha freezes, face pale, and Tianlan Jun comments, he looks like his mother. Shenjin Cho says coldly, his eyes looks like yours. Shenjin Cho manages to get his sword on Zhu Zhilong's throat. He smiles and says it would be so terrible to lose such a good subordinate. But Tianlan Jun sighs and says, Zhu Zhilong is a bit foolish. He's quite emotionally fragile. If you treat him like this, you'll break his heart. Zhu Zhilong protests, my lord, I'm not foolish. Shenjin Cho says, I am heartbroken that you're treating my disciple like this. Release my disciple and I'll release your nephew, all right? But Tianlan Jun says, I'm afraid Zhu Zhilong won't give me that chance. Before Shenjin Cho can react, Zhu Zhilong lunges himself at Shenjin Cho, causing him to startle and withdraw his blade. Taking advantage of Shenjin Cho's surprise, he escapes back to Tianlan Jun's side.
Tiannan Jun chuckles. I told you, Zuzilang's a bit foolish. If someone tries to hold him hostage against me, he would seek death himself. Peak Lord Sen must not underestimate him. What the fuck? Senjin Cho spends so much energy trying to capture him, but Zuzilang is a terrible hostage. Tiannan Jun begins to push down on Lobingha's skull until blood flows out of his eyes. Oh, gross.
Oh, that's so gross.
Lobingha turns to Senjin Cho and says through the blood foaming at his mouth, go anywhere you want. Just don't stay here. Senjin Cho immediately throws his sword, but Tiannan Jun only tilts his head to dodge, causing it to nail itself into the mural behind him. Tiannan Jun says that Senjin Cho's aim is quite bad, but Senjin Cho smiles. The sword has stabbed into the mural woman, shattering the jewel in her eye, and her smile begins to curve higher and higher until her face is split.
Suddenly, a piercing laugh erupts from the woman's mouth. The Hall of Delight has a trap, where if anyone removes a gem from its walls, you get laughed to death by a sound wave attack. Zhu Long and Tianlan Jun are momentarily stunned, and Shen Qingqiu uses this opportunity to grab his sword and Luo Binghe and run. He charges into the next hall and seals the gate. But when he turns his head, he almost faints. Fuck! He accidentally grabbed Zhu Long instead of Luo Binghe. He fucking left Luo Binghe alone with his father. Shen Qingqiu turns to open the stone door, but Zhu Long tells him that he shouldn't go back. Luo Binghe has no chance against Tianlan Jun. Shen Qingqiu is going to faint. How did he grab the wrong person? Why are they all wearing black robes?
Well, how did that happen?
How did this happen?
You
had one job.
Dude, and he was on the ground.
Bruh.
Like, Luo Binghe's literally on the ground getting his head stepped on. Like, how did he grab the standing person?
Just grabbed an arm.
Critical fail.
And missed.
But suddenly he realizes that the floor beneath them is strange. There's a woman's face painted on the floor, but her expression is fierce and her eyes are narrow with rage. Shen Qingqiu warns Su Zilong not to step on her face, but Su Zilong is at a loss. The face is so big it covers the entire floor. Where else can he step? They are in the Hall of Fury, and Shen Qingqiu remembers the correct step sequence from when he read the original novel, but he can't believe he brought the wrong person. Suddenly, the floor begins to grow hot. It looks like it's too late, and they've already stepped on her face. Shen Qingqiu tries to get to the edge of the floor, but the fountain of lava bursts from the ground. The floor is
really
lava.
Traps. Yeah, the floor is literally lava. Zhu Long transforms into a snake and wraps himself around Shen Qingqiu to protect him. Tianlang Jun was right. Zhu Long is so foolish. Why is he protecting Shen Qingqiu? Did he already forget how he tricked him at the brothel? Or how he had threatened him with a sword just a few minutes ago? Shen Qingqiu is too embarrassed to take advantage of him again. But suddenly, the wall of the hall collapses and Tianlang Jun walks in. He says, "Am I mistaken? Or does Peak Lord Shen seem more familiar with this holy mausoleum than even me?" Zhu Long transforms back into a human and he shouts out, "My lord, don't come in!" But it's too late, and Tianlan Jun has already taken 5 or 6 steps across the woman's face. Shen Qingqiu and Zhu Long are speechless.
Immediately, a pillar of lava erupts, and Tianlan Jun is engulfed. Shen Qingqiu laughs internally. Serves him right. But then Luo Binghe appears, one of his arms hanging uselessly at his side, and one of his eyes is swollen shut. Aww. What the hell? He looks even worse than when Luo Binghe first transmigrated and... Whoops. He looks even worse than when Shen Qingqiu first transmigrated and saw Luo Binghe beaten up by the original Shen Qingqiu. Why is his elders always teaching him a lesson with violence? Luo Binghe scans the scene and jumps from point to point as he goes to Shen Qingqiu's side. Typical protagonist. With just one look, he figured out the booby trap. The secret is to only step on the acupoints. Shen Qingqiu and Luo Binghe leave the hall and enter the next room. Shen Qingqiu lowers the gate and confirms that this time he grabbed the right person.
Now they are in the Hall of Sorrows, and a woman's face is painted on the ceiling. When Shen Qingqiu and Luo Binghe entered the room, the woman's eyes opened and her face turned miserable, and she begins to cry, filling the room with rain. But this isn't regular water. It's corpse rain. And Shen Qingqiu is about to warn Luo Binghe not to let the water touch his skin when Luo Binghe suddenly raises his arms to cover Shen Qingqiu, and he drags him straight across the hall. Just like that, they pass the level. What the hell? The original Luo Binghe didn't break through these traps in such a crude and simple way. In the novel, going through these halls took multiple chapters, but at the rate they're going, it could barely even cover a single chapter. Suddenly, the system chirps, Cut down on filler plot. Refine the storyline. B points plus 100.
It's funny how it says that it won't even cover half a chapter, and we literally are in half of a chapter.
We are. This is literally part 1 of chapter 15. The rest of the chapter is going to be on next week's episode.
Oh man, this is great. Yeah. Such a good episode.
The introduction of Tianlang Jun is 10 out of 10.
Love him. He's so great. You guys are going to fall in love with him.
Such a good character. Yeah, he's so quirky. Like, there's no other way I can think of describing him. He's just a weird dude.
Mm-hmm. I could imagine him as like a a spoiled rich son who ends up becoming like surfer boy mentality for his entire life and just becomes a hippie.
Yeah, he just doesn't care about anything. He's just like,
It's like,
well,
yeah,
he's
man,
very
just
angry
chill.
about the fact that he got buried under a mountain for many years. But besides that, he's just very like goes with the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And Lobega just going through these traps and protecting Shen Cho, even though Shen Cho broke his fucking heart, just protecting him forever. Going through all this hell just to like rescue him. Because, oh my god. I feel like if it was a normal person, they'd just be like, you know what? It's not really worth the trouble. I think I'm just gonna let this one go. But he's like, no. He's mine. I'm keeping him. I'm gonna go through everything I can just to keep him with me. Even though he hates me, I'm just gonna keep him.
Yes. Keep him. He has. You can lock him up. Put him in a cage.
They basically wanted to kidnap him. He had him kidnapped for a few days, and then he fucking died. So again, died twice.
All right, let's talk about our off topics today.
Okay.
I'm gonna search through. I have so many that I need to pick one.
I don't know if I have that many. I have to go through an old one because
Okay.
I'm so busy. Oh my god. You wanna go first?
Okay, chat. Do you guys want something sad or do you want something
God.
not sad?
I'm okay with either. What your heart desires.
Okay. I have so many. Okay,
Oh, I found one as well just now.
this one is so sad, but I don't know if I okay. We're gonna talk.
Go for
This
it.
one.
Just go with your gut.
This one is called "The Universe Would Turn to a Mighty Stranger" by Ravenclaw Loki. It's so sad. So it's modal zushi. And actually it takes more place in the actual drama itself. Like they put it on, they put it under the Untamed. And it takes place during the Wen indoctrination when all of the like young guys have to go to the Wen sect and they basically just get
camp.
they it's a labor camp. They literally get tortured. And you remember how Wei Wuxian gets thrown into a dungeon with a dog? Like a vicious, horrifying dog.
I think I read this. Yeah. It's like the traumatic moment.
You'll see.
Like him. Yeah, okay.
So
okay.
he gets thrown into the he's terrified of dogs. If you guys don't know, Wei Wuxian is
scared as fuck.
at like panic attack, like horrible.
He'll just hyperventilate and crawl into a ball and just start crying.
Yeah.
And screaming.
Yeah, he is traumatized by dogs. He cannot handle them. So, in the actual show, that's what happens. They threw him in there, and he gets like bit by the dog, and it's like bad. But then he gets saved. But in this one, he doesn't get saved. So what happens is everyone is standing outside in like about to take the class for the Wen indoctrination, and everyone's lined up. And Wen Chao comes out and starts like telling everyone about, don't be a fucking idiot. Like you should just listen to us because this is what'll happen to you.
Stay in line, bitch.
So what happens is he has Wei Wuxian's corpse and he throws it down the staircase.
Fuck, no, Lan Zhan.
And everyone watches in slow motion as this it's like a dead body, a mutilated, completely like mangled dead body, rolling down the stairs. And there's like a lot of stairs. If you watch the drama, there's like 50 steps at least.
It's very CGI, but it's very, very long.
And he rolls down the stairs and he lands and he's like ragdoll physics completely.
Yeah.
And like Jiang Cheng is screaming at the top of his lungs.
No, so depressing.
He's trying to fight. Lan Wangji Lan Zhan goes and holds him and is crying and is screaming his name. It's so sad. Everyone is
why would you write something like this?
Niu Huisang stiffens next to him. Jiang Cheng screams his brother's name. Jiang Xixuan inhales sharply, but all Lan Wangji saw was weighing. It was it's so messed up.
That's such a sad line.
Yeah.
That's fucked, man.
So for it's how many words? It's 11,000 words. So for 9,000 of those words is just Lan Wangji reacting to this dead body. And it's so sad. It's so sad.
That is the saddest.
I know. But fun fact,
Damn.
Wei Wuxian faked his own death.
There's a twist.
So
There was a twist.
Wen Ning did come to save him in the original thing, and they decided to pretend that Wei Wuxian is dead. He put a bunch of needles in him and slowed his pulse down a lot.
Okay.
And so Wen Qing like takes his body away after like, you know, like everyone's like, oh no, he's dead. And so
Oh my
she's like,
goodness.
all right, let's go dispose of a corpse. Bring him to my office because, you know, I play with dead bodies. And so
Normal doctor things.
yeah, so they bring him over and she revives him, and he sneaks into everyone's rooms afterwards. Like, because what happened was Lanzan and Jiang Cheng end up in a room together, and it's actually Wei Ying's old room, like that he was staying in. And they're both just like trying to blame each other and reconcile with each other. Like they're both in pain. Like Jiang Chen's like, this wouldn't have happened if he didn't try and save you. And, you know, that kind of like, because Wei Wuxian got punished originally. He got sent to the dungeon because he had tried to protect like Lanzan. It's like was like trying to focus all the bad energy on him and get himself in trouble. And so they're blaming each other. They're like fighting each other. And then all of a sudden the door opens and it's Wei Ying. And everyone's like, oh my fucking God, you fucking asshole.
You're here all along. Why'd you do this to me? Why'd you put me through this?
Yeah. And of course, like by now, like Lanzan has like figured out his feelings. And so he like is like, I love you. I love you so
I feel like
much.
seeing the love of your life die traumatically in front of you will definitely make you appreciate your feelings more. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a happy ending, but oh man, they do such a good job at the beginning giving you the saddest possible scenario. Love it. Good stuff.
Good rec. Okay, mine's a little bit more lighthearted than that. It's called Follow Me by Unbirthday Dance, and I am still in the outer space AU fanfic reading journey. And okay, so this one was supposed to be part 1 of a series. So the fic itself is considered complete.
Okay.
But the series has never been updated after 2021. So here we are. And I'm like really disappointed because the idea is very interesting. So basically there's like a space empire and there's like different planets and whatever like in the empire. And there was this like really big war that happened with like the Yiling Laozu, who was like you know.
Yes.
This is also cultivation. So he's like he invented like necromancy and like evil space technology magic, and they defeated him and he's been declared dead, and the war was set out from like the empire against him, and the empire is led by Lanzhan. So originally his older brother Lan Huan was supposed to be the emperor, but it happened to be that the empire has this tradition, like the secret family tradition, where the royalty take 1 year like traveling. It's called a retreat. And the public thinks that, oh, they're going out to the secluded mountainside or some planet to like better their cultivation. But actually it's a way for the royals to like be among the people and live in like incognito and like have like, you know, just pretend to be a normal person and see how the people live. So Lan Huan happened to be on this retreat when this war break out. So Lanzhan had to like step in and be the emperor. And then after the war was over, Lan Huan came back and he was like, well, you can. I mean, Lanzhan was like, yeah, you can be the emperor if you want. I was only here temporary, so like I don't care. So the tradition says that they have to like fight in order to see who will become the emperor if there's like 2 claims to the throne. And Lanzhan like accidentally won the fight. So he's like, oh shit, well I guess I'm the emperor now. But there's like now it's like kind of a time of peace. So Lanzhan decides that, you know, now's a good time for him to take his retreat and like learn what the commoners are like learn what normal life is like. But he's never had like, he struggles a lot. He's never had like the concept of money or like anything like that, or like getting a job, or like also because there's a lot of like there was a big war, there's still a lot of like resentful energy and ghosts that live in like these different planets, and he's always lived in like the capital, which has always been like cleaned of resentful energy and ghosts. So when he's traveling to all these poorer planets, he's like bombarded by all this like anger and resentment, so he doesn't know what to do. But he notices that like one of his like when he's traveling, he noticed that there's like this particularly really bad resentful area ghost thing. Oh, I also forgot to mention, all the cultivators have a magical cat, which is replacing their weapons. So like Shen is their cat, and Wei Ying has like Qing, what's his name? Qing Ling.
Wei Ying has what? Sui Bian?
His name is flute.
Oh, it's Qing Cheng, Ten Qing.
Chen Qing. So yeah, so like all of them have like a talking cat that they can like telecommunicate with, because like that's represents their magical artifacts. Anyways, So Lanjan and his cat are like going through these, and they notices like there's like this really fucked up, like full of ghosts, like full of resentful energy, like murderous area, and he realizes that there is like a brother and sister who are like evil and like out murdering people and trapping their spirits in this like magic circle to like feed off their resentful energy and like feed ghosts. So he doesn't know what to do because he's like, oh, this area is like not really well protected. There's not that many cultivators. So, well, I am the emperor. I'm pretty strong, so I'll step in and help. So he like sneaks, like waits until night to like try and like apprehend them. But then he runs into Wei Ying, who is acting as like an illegal cultivator, because like if you're a cultivator, you have to like register to like do that, because it's like you're technically like fighting crime and like getting rid of ghosts. But he has like a really shitty like MySpace era website where he takes on like cultivation requests from people who don't have a lot of money. It's like under the table, and like just gets paid in cash, because he is technically he's like a demonic cultivator, and he's like living under a different identity as Mo Shan Yu, because he's actually the Yiling Laozi, of course, but he faked his death, so now he has to like live and survive by being like a demonic cultivator who gets paid under the table. And he's taking on all these different like requests from people, and he is also like Shui Yang is there, and he thinks that Wei Wuxian is like the Wei Ying, like the Yiling Laozi incarnate. So he like follows him around and calls him master, and considers himself as an apprentice. And Wang is like, you're fucking psycho, but like I can't work alone, so I guess I'll like have you stick around.
Which is so what we always wanted. We've always wanted them to be best friends.
Their energy is so, it's crazy, because Shueyang just like carries around a knife for no reason, and he just like he's always like, can I murder them? Can I murder them? And Wang is like, no, you cannot fucking murder them. We have to apprehend them. And, and then sometimes he's like, can we please murder them? They're like really evil. And Wang is like, okay, fine, just one murder, just one.
That's great.
So like, yeah, this is how like Wang and Lanjan meet. And during the course of their interaction, like Wang like doesn't know that Lanjan is the emperor. He's like, wow, this guy's pretty strong, almost like the emperor. But that can't be you, right? Because like the emperor's on like he's in secluded meditation. That can't be you. And Lanjan is like, wow, this guy is really strong, almost as powerful as the Yiling Laozi. Actually, he might be even stronger than the Yiling Laozi. I better keep an eye on him. So they're like, they have like, you know, secret identities, and they like don't know that, but they're like hanging out a lot, and they're like flirting with each other. And eventually we get across this really interesting mystery where there's like a haunted spaceship. Like someone hires Wei Ying to look into her engine room, because the engine room is haunted by ghosts. But the ghosts are not dead, they're like alive ghosts, and it doesn't feel like any ghosts that she's seen before.
Alive ghosts? Like what is that?
Like they're like living ghosts, they don't feel dead. So yeah, it was weird. And so like even when Wei Ying and Lanjan goes to investigate, their cats get like a really weird feeling about it. It's like nothing anyone's ever seen before. It turns out to be Nia Mingje's right arm that was severed, but the arm is still looks really fleshy, and like even you can even see like the blood circulating through the severed portion. It looks like a whole ass arm, except like the body is missing. And they take a long time to like capture it and like figure what's going on. And this kind of follows the novel, where the arm like points to a direction to figure out like where the rest of its body is, and they're like continuing the mystery from there. But unfortunately, that's where the story ends. Like they capture the arm points, and they're like, okay, the story is gonna continue with part 2, and it has been 2021.
No.
It has been last updated in June 2021, and I just want to know, on Birthday Dance, when are you gonna continue this?
Yeah,
series?
please come
you
back.
Wrote this so good.
We know you're doing this for free, but you have to come back.
You set this up. You set this whole fucking sci-fi science empire up, and you set up this whole like cultivation magic ghost thing that I've never seen before. It's completely new, with these like cat familiars, so they're like witches and cultivators at the same time. It's so dope. And yet there is no more.
That's the
and I
worst.
love seeing Shui Yang and Wei Wuxian together, and
yeah.
why is there no more?
I hope that fanfiction writers listen to our podcast so that they can write the fanfiction we want.
Magical space cats.
I want
Please.
more modern magic AU without like actual sex. It's like cool
Just
witchy
fun
magic.
Stories. Yeah,
witchy magic.
Did you see the one where Wang is like the owner of a coffee shop?
I love that
He's
one.
Yeah,
and then Lanzan gets turned into a rabbit. Yeah. I think we went over that in one of our episodes.
I think we did. We did talk about it. He just gets like well, I guess I'm a rabbit now.
He's so
He
cute.
tries to like set him up with different people. He's like, nope, I don't love
Gotta
any
find
of
your
these
true
people.
love.
Yeah.
So cute.
Cute.
All right, this is the part of the podcast where we listen, or actually, hey guys, come on, give us some comments on our. We need you to write stuff on things.
We see you lurking in the stream.
Not on stream, but in the on our Patreon. we
Oh,
want,
also on the Patreon.
I like to
leave us
read
comments.
your
We wanna see your
comments.
reactions.
Okay, then let me just click on the other thing. Filters. Go to Sudan. Apply filter.
I read that Dumb Hummus changed their name from another name, so they were accidentally getting read twice.
What?
Like one of the.
Oh, I
patrons-
see. Okay, I have to update that whole thing. Let me just update it completely. I'm just gonna replace everyone's name. Let me do some clerical bullshit right now.
Fun clerical work. You guys get to see this in the uncut version. Of
Yeah.
where we
Let's
just
see.
disguise typing.
Yep.
Typing. Car door says I like to lurk. Heidi.
He.
We're glad that you're here. And Stella is typing away at our tier. Was it tier 3? Tier 3 patrons.
Yeah.
Writing. Oh, I did notice we also got some new patrons this month, so that was awesome.
Yeah, I
Thank you guys for
know.
subscribing.
It's great.
Thank you for joining our small community.
Yes.
Just the baby community.
I love it because it helps justify me continuing to do this.
Yeah, for sure.
This
It's
is my
like, oh,
job.
Yeah, we get to do this for fun and money.
Woo! All right, this is the part of our podcast where we like to talk about our Patreon, and usually we like to read comments, but this week we don't see any comments. So instead, we're just going to thank our student here. So thank you to Owl.
Thank you, FazeBoy23.
Thank you, Kita.
Thank you, Little Princess Shy.
Thank you, Kate Payne.
Thank you, Dumb Hummus and his white cheddar cheeses.
And thank you, Rob. If you guys want to change your names and make it fancy every week, I'm
That'd
super
be so
down.
Funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for being our top tier patrons. We really appreciate your support. We couldn't have this show without y'all, so thank you so much.
Yeah. Do we have a quote for this week?
We sure do. I underlined something as we were reading. Hold on, where did it go? Wait, did I underline something or am I making that up? I guess I didn't. Okay. Now I have to. I really gotta remember to underline things as we do the podcast. Oh my god! I like the thing that Shang Qinghua said when he was talking about the legs. Where was it? Shang Qinghua said, "Between the thighs is even better, huh? A man's most important object is between the thighs."
Thanks for listening. See you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Awesome. Beautiful.
Oh my god.
And that's all for today's episode, you guys. Jenny and I are going to go record our bottom show.
Stuff.
It's a Patreon extra episode, so if you don't support us on Patreon, you should. Please do it.
Do it. It's so awesome over there. And the generous.